Yeah, good evening, everyone. Here we come again. I'm Rose Cons. I'm joined with Rachel, our tech guy. We represent Davao DeFi community, and we're thrilled to bring you another episode of our DDC On-Demand, which is part of our weekly series. This is episode 12. And before we dive in, we want to highlight that the program prioritizes education and sharing of knowledge and over giving financial advice. So we highly encourage to do your own research and due diligence. And your active involvement on this show is greatly appreciated. So we have an exciting topic for tonight and a fantastic guest. So we'll be discussing about Akash Network, sovereign infrastructure that scales. And we are delighted to welcome Sir Robert, an Akash insider. Thank you for joining the show, sir. We truly appreciate your time.
Thank you for the invitation, man. Excited to be here, and yeah, let's talk Akash.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Now, okay, so let's start. We are curious about how people typically begin in this field. So could you provide some like details about your journey coming in on our space?
Absolutely, man. First of all, sorry for the delay. Things happen, but
No
let's
worries.
make this as valuable as possible for the listeners, man. And yeah,
Yep.
how I started in crypto? Well, long story short, I used to work for a bank. Uh, I work. I am from the Dominican Republic. My name is Del Rey, as you can see. I used to work in a bank, one of the biggest bank in the country. I was there for 7 years, bro, but I got bored of it. It's not that I got bored, but you know, when you like working every day, the stuff, like it loses its meaning to you, whatever. The thing is that by that same time, it was December 2020. I wanted to do something else, and I was like, let me start investing. I don't know where I got that idea from. So I downloaded a broker app, and I saw Bitcoin for the first time in my life, bro. It was December 2020. I didn't know what was it about, but I just noticed it was like super expensive. When one stock cost like $100, this one was like $10,000 at the time. So I
Yeah.
just got curious about it. I started learning about it, reading about it, learned a bit about self custody. My first purchase was like using an ATM, like no KYC stuff, and like 3 months after that, somebody shared a podcast with me. It was a Crypto Zero podcast, and then I learned the Cosmos ecosystem.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was really nice. I learned a lot about community. I started helping people in the Discord and stuff. Then I found like community programs that I joined to continue helping and
Mhm.
providing value. I usually what I do is create content, be it video content or written content or graphics. So
Mhm.
that's how I help a little. And then a validator approached to me, and I was hired as their social media manager. And
Mhm.
things got like very different from there.
Mhm.
And yeah, I started meeting different people, different levels of the crypto market. And then I found Akash, man. And I joined as an Akash insider. I'm collaborating with my content. I was honored to represent Akash during Cosmoverse 2023 at Istanbul, and it's a great project. So that's basically my story, man. I've done uh, a lot of different stuff in crypto, right? But I believe that I found what I can do good, and what I can do for others, which is like
Mhm.
spreading their message through my content. And that's how I see it, man. I don't do trading. That's a fun fact about me.
Mhm.
And yeah, here we are, man.
Yeah, nice, great intro. Thanks for that. So, yeah, that's good to hear. You represent Akash on the Cosmoverse in Istanbul 2023. That was present now, right? Just just a
Yes,
week
man.
before. Oh, okay. Mm.
Yes,
That's
and
good
that
to.
was beginning October, and I was doing like videos for them over there, taking photos also, and yeah, some posts for social media as well. Really
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, great. Now, yeah, so let's try to discuss really about what is Akash Network. So can you tell us basically what is Akash Network and what are some of its product so that we could get some a frame of it?
Of course, man.
Mhm.
And you know, I
Mhm.
think this space is gonna be great because I'm not that technical person, right? So I'm gonna try to
Mm-hmm.
keep it as simple as possible. But
Yeah.
basically, Akash is Akash network. It's a blockchain. It's built using the Cosmos SDK, so it's a Cosmos chain. It has IBC connection. I'm not gonna expand in those details. Uh, if this is gonna be recorded, just look for the information and read. And if you have any questions, maybe you can approach the Dabao community, right? If you want answers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to the listeners now. But yeah, it's IBC. It has its own token. It's the AKT token, which you use for governance, staking, for trading. But you also can use AKT for something very special, and this is what the network does. Akash, it's a marketplace where people buy and sell compute resources. So you, in this time and age, like all businesses, need something to be hosted somewhere, hosted in the cloud, hosted in the internet in a server, right? And you have people like Amazon that provides that service. You have Google provides that service. Microsoft provides that service as well. But there are some things that comes with that. You have the issue that if one of those servers goes down even for a minute, your business can be affected, right? Let's see they implement a new policy and they won't be working in the country that you live, for example. You will need to stop using their service to use another service.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that can happen using those like centralized service. The difference about Akash is that you just need to create a wallet. You just need to create like an image of what do you need,
Mm-hmm.
and you go with that and some AKT. You go to a cash marketplace and you make your bid, and you're gonna see different providers willing to host your application or willing to host your project or whatever you want to host, man. That's the thing about Akash. You
Mm-hmm.
can basically host whatever as long as it is compatible, I guess. Again, I'm gonna keep it simple, right? But you can basically host anything on Akash, and it's decentralized. You won't know who is the provider. I mean, you can have provider information, right? But you won't be able to
Mm-hmm.
know like his identity. He won't be able to know your identity. There's no KYC. You have some applications that do have KYC if you want to use them, but that's
Okay.
great because they build those on top of Akash, right? But if you want to avoid that and just use Akash directly, you just need to open up a CLI and you can run your commands and interact with Akash directly. And you don't need to do like any KYC stuff in order for you to request compute or to provide your compute. So it works both ways. You can either provide the compute or you can go there and buy compute from others. And the token you use to buy for those is the AKT token. So yeah, that's like a very superficial overview. I would suggest you maybe you can go on YouTube and look for Greg Osuri. He's the founder of Overclock Labs. It's the major
Mm.
contributor to Akash network code, and he explains the project like way better than I explain it, man. So
Yeah.
if you have time, just do that. But I gave you a very superficial explanation of the project, which is still very accurate.
Yeah. I think that's already somehow tells about some of the idea that is basically a marketplace where providers and buyers coming in to get their computing services, right? So I think this is very relevant to me because I think my job before was like a system administrator. So I've been managing like data centers, servers, networks, and I've been interacting with cloud service like AWS, Google. So now let's try to ask if how does Akash differ from traditional cloud computing, and what are the inherent problems Akash trying to solve or to address in difference with this existing cloud computing services like AWS and Google?
Awesome, man. Well, to expand a little more on that, then I guess the main benefit is that you don't have to share your personal information in order to use it. Uh, you just need a Kepler wallet, and that's where the AKT is coming from, and that's how you pay the providers, and that's how they host your application. You don't need to rebuild your identity. For me, that's very powerful, and that's one of the main benefits that Akash offers. Uh, Akash, the slogan is right now. The people say it's the super cloud. We're gonna get into that in a moment. But before that, it was like the unstoppable cloud. And the reason why is that once you host your application on Akash and you have enough Akash to run it, it's gonna run as long as you have funds in your wallet. The price is very cheap. We're gonna expand about the price in a moment. But you have your wallet, you have like $100 in AKT. You just have your bid, and let's say the provider wants to charge you $3 a month for your website, whatever. Uh, don't believe in these numbers. I'm just pulling them off. If you want a
Mhm.
comparison, you can go to a tool that I can share. In Cloud Modes, you can see the price chart, and it compares the cash prices with other providers' prices. And since all the providers in the network want to give you their resources because they want to sell their stuff, they want to get money, right? They will compete on price to get that business from you. So
Mhm.
because of that competition, the prices are really, really low. And it can be up to like 80% less than normal providers like Microsoft or AWS or Hetzner. Hetzner, that's the other one. And
Mhm.
speaking about Hetzner, yeah, the point I was giving before is that your app is gonna be there as long as you have funds to run it and the provider runs your application. It's not gonna go down. It's not gonna be blocked, man.
Mhm.
And let's say it happens that the providers do close your deployment. You just need to switch to another provider and your application is going to be up in no time, man. And that's crazy about it. There was one suggestion made about auto routing feature, because let's say you host this on a cache, right? If you run out of funds, your deployment is going to be closed automatically, and that can stop your service, right? That can impact your
Mhm.
business.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is manually fund your wallet again and start the process again, getting a new provider, do a bidding, find the price, and start the process again. So these guys, what they're working on right now is the auto routing feature. And what's that gonna do is that, let's say your deployment runs out of funds, it's gonna try to connect you with another provider right away, and you're gonna
Mhm.
have like a set amount of funds or something like that, so that you can have enough time to fund your wallet and continue with your service without having like any interruptions. That's really nice. Another development that they're working on right now is that they noticed that people don't like to do many stuff using cryptocurrencies. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's why it's so important to disconnect and touch some grass, because people don't like to use crypto for payment because the price goes up, the price goes down. So that affects both sides. That affects providers and that affects the buyers.
Yeah. Correct.
So right now, Akash, like 1 month ago, Akash updated to mainnet 6, and it has many new capabilities now. But one of them is that that you have stable payments, that you can pay for the service using USDC. And
Mhm.
what's great about that is that you're gonna have a fixed price forever. Let's say it's gonna be
Mhm.
like $5 a month, $3 a month. You know that you're gonna pay that same amount always, and in USDC, instead of having like, okay, maybe this month is 100 a cash, or next month it's gonna be 50 a cash, or this month it's
Mhm.
gonna be 75 AKT. You see my point? So that's
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
benefit that
Definitely.
Akash has. And yeah, I guess maybe an indirect benefit over the major suppliers is that they don't accept crypto. So in case
Yeah.
you wanna
Correct.
still pay with crypto, you can still do it with a cash as well. They're
Yeah.
working
That.
to have
Mhm.
other cryptocurrency added, like Atom currency.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can just join Discord to stay tuned for those news, man. It's really an exciting time to be involved in a cash, man. I've been an insider for like 1 year, and yeah, you get to learn many difference over like the web 2 stuff, but still that doesn't mean they both cannot collaborate with each other. Maybe we can expand about that later in the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, in
Okay.
a nutshell, in a nutshell, that those are like the main benefits I see Akash has over the traditional market.
Yeah, that's really a good update because yeah, as you said that having like a payment structure for Akash is somehow might be a problem. Like they need to be onboarded on the blockchain itself on Web3, and trying to get the to set up the wallet, that would be somehow daunting in for the newbies. And with the latest update, which Akash already able to accept USDC, which is a stable coin. It's a good avenue that uh, buyers and also providers will be able to frame the price, fixed price for particular computing services. Now, if I would like to ask also, since Akash is like a marketplace, there is a buyer and also there's a provider. These providers are like, what are the typical providers there? Uh, are there still like data center or cloud service provider? Can you give us some idea which are this provider? Is this limited to big providers only, or anyone can participate in this?
Absolutely, man. That's a great
Mm,
question,
mm,
Rob.
mm,
Let me tell you, anyone can become a provider on Akash.
mm,
Actually, in Akash, you can provide different types of CPU. And now with Mainnet 6, you can provide also GPUs. There are different models that you can provide, but as long as you have those models, you can provide them. Now, most of the providers and the biggest ones I've seen on Akash are people that have data centers already, and that like compute that they don't sell somewhere else, they provide that on a cash. So basically they're making money both ways, man. And they're making money for their existing customers, but they're also making money on a cash in a
mm.
permissionless manner, because yeah, they just need to interact with the CLI and provide, and that's it, man. But yeah, you have like big providers, but you also have like small providers, that people that have only one computer, maybe two, right? But anybody can provide on Akash.
Okay, that's good news because by having your provider distributed from different types of provider, at least the decentralization aspect, uh, which is we found mostly on large cloud services like AWS and cloud, which is they basically own all the data center. So it's a good aspect and avenue for security aspect. And of course, the major problem of data computing is getting offline, or your services get interrupted in the sense because there's only one single point of failure.
Absolutely.
Now, yeah. Now, if I may ask, I think Akash is really like very relevant on what we're doing already on, like particularly in the Web3 in the DeFi space, because it's been suddenly a major talk and hot topic in our space regarding censoring different DeFi projects from different area, like what happened like with Uniswap. If you heard about that, the UI experience is being censored. But of course,
Yes.
the smart contract still runs. So, any thoughts on insight about that? How Akash become very relative to that aspect?
Well, man, thanks for asking.
Mm,
Uh, let me make clear that this is what I believe Akash is best, honestly. There are many things you can do with Akash, but this is one of the main benefit, man. That unstoppable fact. Like you say, yeah, Uniswap, but other dexes like TorSwap, even exchanges, I guess, they had this issue that they had to block their user interface, the front
mm,
page. And you are like, hey, I thought that this project was decentralized. Well, nothing changed. It's not that the project is not decentralized as you expect, right? But maybe they're where they were hosting their application was centralized, and maybe where they were hosting the application knew the people behind that project, and maybe something happened, and they asked them to stop having their application hosted with them, like Hetzner did. Or well, what Hetzner did was they specify they don't want crypto projects hosted in their nodes. So
Oh,
that can happen to anybody, right?
yeah.
And with Akash, let's say you had your application running on a provider on Akash. Like I said before, as long as your wallet is funded and as long as that provider continues with your deployment, your app is not going to stop. Let's say that they got that provider and somebody threw a grenade over his house, whatever. I'm just giving a crazy example.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the provider is no more. The provider that was
Yeah.
using your application is no more. Yes, your service will be interrupted, but that doesn't mean you cannot go ahead and get another provider for your app and host your app again. So you have many providers around the world. It's a decentralized network of resources. And yeah, those kind of things won't happen in your application. Like blocking a front page because someone asked you to, it's gonna be impossible. Do it for your application. There's no way they can do it because you can host it like anywhere you want to, man. And again, how will they know it's you, right? I don't want to get like in conspiracy here, but
Yeah.
remember, you don't have to do KYC to interact with a
KYC.
cache. And
Mm.
if you play your cards really well, it's gonna be like really hard to even send you a notice or something. That's what I'm saying based on some examples that I have seen myself because I'm no hacker, I'm no developer, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know where I am, so that's why I just create content and I don't I don't use computers that much, right? I just
Yeah.
create,
Okay.
but I know very skilled people, man, that can like have a great use of a cache and be like a sovereign individual. And that's what you want, man. Not because you have something to hide or you are like a bad person, but it's just that you don't know what the other is gonna do with your information, man. And that's
Yeah.
what we are trying to, I don't know, to solve. I guess that's gonna be a problem forever, I guess, right? So
Yeah.
eventually, as years go by, we're gonna just see other solutions for that problem. Akash, I just think it's gonna be one of those solutions,
Mhm.
if that makes sense, man.
Yeah,
Let me catch a
definitely.
breath now. That was really nice.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really had a great potential because it seems like it's implying that owning your computing services, unlike with the traditional one, which you are only a subscriber and they have the power to disconnect you if you're violating particular rules that they have. So now the ownership is being passed on to the users, like particularly if I subscribe to a cloud service in Akash. Now, I'm just curious also because I've been working with, as I mentioned, my job was as admin before, and one of these cloud services that they are flaunting is the security that they provide because they have very huge security infrastructures, firewalls, expensive firewalls, and different components that they are implementing just to make your cloud service safe. And of course, with Akash, the security is being implied on the blockchain itself, and of course, run by what we call the community. So, can you give some insights regarding about this? Because security is really some of the major aspect that we need to consider, like if we're trying to subscribe or building a cloud service.
Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
So about that, I'm gonna keep it short,
Mm-hmm.
but I can tell you that every provider, you can see the information of the providers when you are like seeing your options. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I have option A. You can see some stats like the storage, uptime, and other stats. Again, I don't know all of them, but you can go to cloudmoss.io
Mm-hmm.
and you can see those stats. Or Praetor, it's another app for that. But well, what I'm trying to say is that there is a reputation system in place in a cash marketplace. So based on how that provider behaves, I'm not sure how it works. That provider is gonna have a score, so you can actually see that score and make your decision regarding that. With that info, you can make the decision with that information, but that doesn't guarantee like the provider is not gonna go down or it's gonna do something. I mean, I cannot give you like any guarantees, but I can give you like information so you can take your decision and you take your chances. Because remember,
Mhm.
it's an open marketplace. At the
Yeah.
end,
Mhm.
I won't be able to protect you from everybody. You just gotta do your own research, same as you do your own research with tokens and with everything in life, right? When you wanna get like a new car, you study about that. When you wanna go to another career, you study some things about that. It's the same like getting a provider. You need to study the provider, you need to see the data, and then you can make a decision about that. But ultimately, that doesn't mean you're gonna have success, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. Nice. Thanks for that information. Now, you mentioned a bit when you started conversing regarding about a recent mainnet that happened with Akash. Let's talk about like building like Akash mentioned about the open source super cloud for AI. Can you give a briefer about this? What's this all about?
Oh, sure, man. That's a great question.
Mm,
And you know, AI, it's the latest and greatest about, I guess, innovation. I'm not sure, but
mm,
it's out of question that AI is getting like closer and closer to our lives. Uh,
mhm,
like most of the people try to use it in one way or another. I know editors that use AI for their software, graphic designs that use them for their graphics. Uh, you can have people that writes and get summaries. You know the idea, right?
mhm,
So with mainnet 6, Akash, I mean, before I say that, AI needs like lots of resources to work, but at least that's what I heard. Maybe you can expand a bit more on that, Rob, if you have more info. But it takes
mhm,
lots of resources to work the way it works, right? So the GPUs are a powerful device that has compute, I guess. You have GPUs in your gaming laptop, right? You want the laptop to move good and no lag. You have a GPU. Maybe you are a super video producer and you edit 8K footage, 4K footage. With a GPU, you can like edit smoothly without any issues. So you get the idea. They are powerful, man. And right now with mainnet 6, Akash has the capability to accept GPUs, meaning
mhm.
that providers that have GPU can now provide GPU to the network and you can host more powerful applications on Akash now since we have like GPUs. So one of those powerful applications, it's AI. There are ISO one tool that you can use to generate links and QR codes and also adds like a cool graphic on top of it. And that's done via AI. That was one of the first app I saw on Akash. But yeah, people are starting just testing out with those, but now they have the power to run them. Before you couldn't run these applications. So now you can with the GPUs. And
Mhm.
yeah, there are like a few providers already providing great GPUs, like 800 GPUs. And if you know, those are the same GPUs that the NVIDIA GPUs that NVIDIA says that they are sold out already, right? There are people providing those on a cache. So that could be a way for you to
Mhm.
get access to those GPUs and host your application. But yeah, you have more power now with
Yeah.
Akash Networks GPU, and that's why it's the super cloud for AI. But not only AI, man, all the applications you want to host.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So nice. So it's an additional to the marketplace. Akash now is providing also GPU marketplace for anyone that want to host GPU extensive applications, particularly like AI. Okay, that's a good news. Now, uh, I will be asking this also because I'm also curious because since h- how many years already Akash been running from mainnet since mainnet?
Good, man. The guys started working on this. I believe it was 2018, 2019. They started working on the idea, but mainnet launched in 2020,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
like May
So
2020 exactly.
so it's just a new type project, but of course the innovation is already accelerating. Now, if I want to ask this also because um, probably will be asking like the target market of Akash and what are the possible target users that Akash is trying to eye. Then how does it set itself competing with the traditional competing services with regards to uh, pricing and like and security level? Is Akash much more cheaper compared to others? Can you have some insights on this?
Sure, man. First of all, let me correct myself. I was confusing the mainnet launch with another network. Mainnet
Oh, okay.
for Akash launched actually on March 2021. So
Okay.
so yeah, it's basically a new project. Has 2 years running mainnet, and the guys hasn't stopped building and innovating since they went live. But before that, man, there's not. I believe the confusion is coming from the testnet that was running for a few months prior to the
Mhm.
mainnet launch, which is
Okay.
understandable, right? So
Yeah.
to answer your question, man, the targeting audience of Akash, actually, the focus is different. If you go to Akash Discord, the first thing you're gonna notice it says Akash Network Developers. It's a developers Discord. You won't see many conversations about price going up,
Yeah.
price going
Hmm.
down, because the focus is on developing, on building. You do see like lots of activities for developers because we want to attract many developers to at least understand this. Because after they understand what they can build, then they are free to build whatever they want, right? They just gotta make sure they use Akash to host that. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, man, is that Akash does many activities for developers. We have the working groups where people with similar interests they come together and let's say, okay, let's work on making the tokenomics better. And you have this group working specifically on that. There is another working group, for example, events working group. The reason why I went to represent Akash, it was because it was a community initiative. Some people did a group and they voted for me to go or to do this. That's another working group, but there are many working groups, man, that you can join if you have a specific idea and there are other people that want to work with you. You just need to create a working group and you're good to go. So the main focus is on developers. Other
Hmm.
things, Akash hosted the Akash Hackathon. They hosted that like on September, from August to September, and then revision happened after September 24 until October, beginning October, right? And the prices were announced the other day, actually. That was the Akash Hackathon. There are plans to have more hackathons in the future. So, developers, if you are listening to this, please go to those hackathons. You're going to have a good time, and there are also money prizes in AKT for the
Hmm.
best application. You know how it works. Uh, on Cosmoverse, we were there, we had presence. The focus on Cosmoverse was meeting the devs in person, but also meeting the community members. Because yes, it's super technical community, but there are also like not so technical people that are there, and we approach them, we say hi. It was great to meet those people in person. And we also hosted a hackathon over there in Hackmos, which is the hackathon following the Cosmoverse. Akash was a co-sponsor there, and we had three prizes for three different applications. So yeah, you can see how many activities Akash does for the developers. So if you are a developer, or even if you're not one, I would suggest you to pass by Akash Discord and see what you can find for you, man, because you never know.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Is Akash open also, like for onboarding Web 2 developers going to Web 3?
Yes, man, of course.
Hmm.
Everybody can go ahead and join a cache. Anybody can go and join to a cache.network, right? And you can find the documentation, you can read it, you can do whatever you want, man. It's permissionless, it's decentralized. Uh, After a few months from now, uh, most of the activities have been done by the community. Before, everything was like under the name of Overclock Labs because they were like the main contributor. But a few months ago, that changed, and now most of the initiatives are community initiatives, and they have like the guidance from people from the team, and the name is not like Overclocks anymore. It's now everything is on behalf of a cash network, which is great, man. So yeah, there are many ways to get involved. There is one program that I mentioned. It's the Akash Insiders. Maybe we can share the link later. Uh, People describe it like an ambassador program, but I don't like to say it's ambassador program because first of all, it's not open. You need to do like a form and then go through an interview process.
Okay.
Nothing super serious, right? But maybe just to filter out a little and just make sure that the people that join is people that want to work for Akash and build greater stuff and assist the community. So even if you want to network, it's a great group, man. You can get to meet lots of people from different kinds, different areas of the market. And you don't have that much noise that you usually see in other groups, which is like, hey, are we gonna get the prizes? When are we gonna get the announcement for this competition, right? Because
Yeah.
they're just like competing for that. The topics on the insiders are like a little deeper, I guess, in a sense that it's about collaboration and what stuff can we build and where do we go from here. I guess that's the reason why Akash has been able to add many things to the network in a short amount of time because yeah, at all times at least someone is working on something and it's great every month. And look, and actually that's today. Every month there is a steering, the steering community call, and in that call we
Mhm.
discuss the topics for the community, and those are topics that people submit on a cache GitHub. You can submit any topic on GitHub, and during those discussions on a monthly basis we discuss them. You have the chance to talk about them, and you can share your idea in front of the community, right? And there is people that volunteer to help you. There are people that give you feedback, and yeah, month by month we go through the list and we check stuff off the list and we add new stuff to the list. And like 95% of those come from the community, brother. It's crazy because I've never seen that in another crypto project. Maybe there are
Yeah.
crypto projects like that out there, but at least the ones that I've been exposed to haven't been like that. So yeah, if you are in a
Yeah.
project that sounds similar to what I'm saying, doesn't matter what the name is, man. Keep on working on that because I can tell you it's a good project. I've been with them like for 1 year, and it's good how much you can grow, how much you can collaborate, and it's great to see how things get shaped and get formed on a cache and go from the idea and go to life in a few months. And then just after the launch, it's like, okay, what are we gonna do now? And you see
Yeah.
people offering to do other stuff. So yeah, it's very dynamic, man. I don't know if
Yeah.
that is like a very long answer. I don't know if that answered your question at all, but you
Yeah.
basically get the idea on how open and free is like building on a cache, which I guess was like your main point, right?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. It's a good avenue that the community of Akash is really active, which is basically one of the core foundation of the project that we've been doing, like on DeFi, on Web3. So community really matters in that aspect. And actually, I'm a bit surprised and somehow optimistic in the sense because Davao DeFi community recently had been engaging on creating a community pool for developers, so Web2 developers, so that we've been educating them regarding about the basic principles, education of blockchain, Web3, and DeFi. Then we're able to cascade that furthermore so that they will be able to participate for the different projects in our industry that are offering like hackathon, which is like, for example, Akash. Hopefully Akash will be able to to see this and give us opportunity here in the Philippines also for our talented web 2 developers to get onboarded and build also on contribute on the with the aspect like Akash what has been doing. Now, I think we discussed most of the I think the idea and the project about Akash, and we're almost on wrapping. We're almost an hour already on our show. So now I just want to ask for basic user that want to onboard on Akash and to participate, like a user or maybe a provider on the marketplace for the cloud computing, and possible also like the recent one, which is the GPU marketplace. How do we connect basically with Akash?
Awesome, man. That's a great question. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes you are so involved in the market that you forget about those basic stuff and you
Mhm.
take them for granted. But it's a great question, man, and I will give the reminder right now. I guess the best way to access Akash is if you have some Atom or some Cosmos-based token, like Osmosis or I don't know, another token for the Cosmos ecosystem. You just need to go to one of the dexes on the ecosystem, like Osmosis. You swap for some AKT, and that's basically it, man. You go to Akash.network, you go to Akash documentation, and from there you can download the Akash network into your computer so you can run it in the CLI. And yeah, with at least 5 AKT, you should be able to deploy a blog like WordPress or something simple like a written blog or photo blog, and you can do that with 5 AKT. That is like $5. So I guess that's the best way to get started. The website is getting like redesigned, so it's gonna be easier to walk around. But even from now, you just need to go to the documentation, and if you have any questions, you go to the Akash Discord. Someone is gonna respond to you. The Akash community, like the insiders, are spread like all around the world, and it's like almost 24-hour 24/7 service. Almost there's gonna
Mhm.
be at least one person connected when you have your question, and I've seen many people asking and getting answers right away, which is great,
Mhm.
because people don't know, right? People just learning about your stuff, and you want to have people there like assisting people and helping you, because that can be crucial, man. Because
Mhm.
let's say that you join and you ask your question and nobody's get backs to you, you're gonna be like disappointed and you're gonna go for another project, and you don't know what you might be missing out just because of that. But
Mhm.
since you have someone that can respond persons that can respond questions right away, uh, you are more likely to keep those people. And I've seen those cases, man. Usually when I see a new name in the server, if you see that person like asking like a few questions like for the next 2 3 weeks, that's usually a username you're gonna continue seeing on Discord forever, bro.
Mhm.
Usually
Yeah, yeah.
you see they ask one question and you don't see them again, but there are people that come and just stay because of that, and it's really nice. So to get connected right away, long story short, go to Osmosis, swap any crypto for AKT so you can have some to pay for fees. Or if you want to stake some, feel free to do that. Do whatever amount you want. NFA, right? That's just a
Mhm.
token. So you can use Akash. If you want to use Akash, that's the token you have to use, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Okay.
and yeah, and download the CLI. You don't even have to download the CLI. There is another application called uh, Patro, Patro provider. I always get the name wrong, but it's Patro, something like that. And they have a very beautiful UI that
Mhm.
you can interact with. You can add all your information, and behind the scenes, they will make it happen for you, and you don't have to interact with the CLI even. So yeah, it's really
Yeah.
easy actually to get going. You're just gonna. I guess the hardest part for you is gonna be like thinking what you can deploy on a cache, what you want to deploy, what you want to show with the world. Do you want to show like your personal blog? You want to host your business website over there? You want to host your front end over there? Yeah, I guess that's gonna be the hardest part for you.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's a great avenue that what we've been discussing for today's show regarding Akash Network. So it's really a very innovative type of project that being launched already on the Web3 on the DeFi aspect. Focuses on decentralizing computing services. It's a permissionless, and you're able to span out your computing services for your personal site or maybe on a business site using their peer-to-peer marketplace, including which is the recent one is the GPU marketplace. So I think everyone will be curious on doing this, and there will be probably further more iteration with regards to this technology and innovation in the coming years for sure to improve further so it could surely compete with the existing traditional computing large computing services. So yeah, thank you so much, Sir Robert, for coming in, for saying yes to our invite, discussing about Akash Network, getting familiar with it, with our viewers who are also like newbies, normies. So they got curious. So at least we have some topic discussion here to get them somehow started in the sense. And we're truly happy for having you here with your time. I know you're a bit busy, and our time zone is different. It's too early in your time, but it's already night here in the Philippines. So yeah, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation, man. It was my pleasure. And for the community, remember, just go to Akash .network to get more information. And my handle is at Insta Finanzas. It's in Spanish. Hopefully, you can share it or you can see it somewhere. Feel free to connect.
Mhm.
I'm more than happy to answer your questions or see how we can collab together. Crypto, it's all about collaboration. So that's the last what I want to say. Thank you for having
Y-
me, man.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be adding that information link on our show so that anyone got interested, they can connect with Akash. And of course, they can follow you. So thank you for tonight's show and for coming here, Sir Robert. Looking forward for some of the other topic or shows that we might invite you again. So thank you so much and have a good day in your end and have a good night on my end. Bye for
Likewise.
now.